was walking to my bus stop at 5 in the morning when a masked man stepped out of an alley and pointed a gun at my head. It was still dark outside, cold and misty, and I was barely awake. I remember eating a banana and thinking about whether I should get coffee before or after my commute. Then, as I reached the dimly lit corner of my street, a tall man in a black mask appeared from the alley to my left. At first, my tired brain didn't understand what I was seeing. Then he raised the gun and shouted, "Put down your fucking purse!" Everything inside me went cold. I slowly lowered my bags and told him I was doing exactly what he wanted. I kept talking because silence felt more dangerous. Okay, I'm putting them down. You can take everything." But he didn't want my bags. He ordered me to walk toward him, away from the sidewalk and closer to the alley. Then he told me to get on the ground. My heart was beating so hard I could barely hear, and my hands were still sticky from the banana. I knelt down and kept repeating that he could take my things. He screamed at me to shut up, climbed on top of me, and pressed the gun against my head. I was dressed in oversized pants, a hat, and a loose jacket because I was on my way to coach an early high school practice. In the darkness, I probably looked like a teenage boy. But when he heard my voice and looked closely at my face, he suddenly paused. I couldn't see his expression behind the mask, but I felt the moment he realized I was a woman. He stood up, pointed the gun toward the alley, and said, "Come with me." That frightened me more than the weapon. There had been several sexual assaults in the neighborhood recently, some of them in broad daylight. I looked into that narrow, filthy alley and knew that if I went in, no one would see me, no one would hear me, and I might never come back out. He shouted again, louder this time, "Fucking follow me!" I told him I was coming. My voice sounded obedient, even though every part of me was preparing to run. I took one small step toward him, then another. He believed me. That was his mistake. For just a second, he turned his body toward the alley, and the gun moved away from me. I lowered my head, took a breath, and ran. I sprinted back toward the street as fast as I could, expecting a gunshot with every step. I heard someone screaming in a high, broken voice before I realized it was me. I didn't look back. I ran for 6 or 7 blocks, cutting across streets and between buildings, terrified that he was behind me. Then I made my way back toward my apartment from another direction, hoping he hadn't followed me and wouldn't see where I lived. The police searched the alley about an hour later, but he was gone. They found no gun, no mask, and no sign of the man who had been sitting on top of me with a weapon against my head. The only thing left was the banana peel I had dropped, already turning brown on the pavement. For days afterward, I couldn't stop shaking. Even now, I still think about the moment he told me to enter that alley. I think about what would have happened if I had obeyed. I think about how close I came to disappearing before sunrise, while the rest of the city was still asleep. I'm lucky that the only thing haunting me is what might have happened and not what did.